You wouldn't have thought US President Joe Biden and his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping had a whole lot in common. But when it comes to state-of-the-art car travel, the pair seem to be on fairly similar ground. Let's take a closer look. The custom Cadillac is one of the most recognisable symbols of presidential travel. But it wasn't until President Kennedy's assassination in 1963 before a progression of increasingly armoured and sealed cars were custom built. But it was George Bush at the turn of the century who was the first US president to have a car built completely from scratch, designed from the ground up by an R&D arm of General Motors in Detroit to meet Secret Service specifications. It was then referred to as the Beast, a nickname that has stuck ever since. Fast forward to the present day, and we have the Beast's latest iteration, which first hit the road in 2018, after being commissioned by Barack Obama 4 years earlier, driving President Trump to the UN Security Council in September of that year. For car buffs, it's basically just a super stretched Cadillac XT6 sedan, but with some mod cons you won't find on the forecourt. Most of the Beast's details are closely guarded by the Secret Service, but we do know it weighs up to just over 9 tons, seats 7, and is designed to help the Commander-in-Chief survive virtually every possible form of attack from a terrorist or assassin. And if the president is injured, the Beast has an extensive range of medical supplies on board, including, believe it or not, a refrigerator full of the president's own blood type. It's also been widely reported that the car features armour made of aluminium, ceramic and steel. The exterior walls have a thickness believed to be of 8 inches. The windows are multi-layered and 5 inches thick, and each door, believed to weigh as much as those of a Boeing 757, can even electrify its handles to deter someone from trying to gain entry. And the James Bond theme doesn't end there. The Beast is hermetically sealed against chemical attacks and features run-flat tyres, night vision devices, smoke screens and oil slicks as defensive measures against would-be attackers. The Beast also contains an expansive array of communications technologies, including, among other things, the ability to dispatch the codes necessary to fire nuclear weapons. It will often be seen to be accompanied by a motorcade of up to 40 vehicles. And in case that's not enough, it has been customary for the United States Secret Service to participate in the destruction of presidential state cars after they've run their course, to shred the vehicle and destroy the secrets of its manufacture, armouring and defensive abilities. But while plenty has been reported over the years about Mr. Biden's set of wheels, relatively little is known about that of President Xi and his Hongqi L5. Hongqi is a Chinese manufacturer that also sells several car and SUV models to the public and has been responsible for the production of state vehicles for over a decade. The name means red flag, of course the symbol of communism. The L5, currently the most expensive Chinese car ever produced, has a relatively long length of 5.555 metres, in homage to the lucky number, thought to be connected to people who are good planners, thinkers and decision makers. They are also thought to be intelligent, witty and have good communication skills, as well as being adventurous and courageous. According to Bloomberg, consumer versions of the L5 go for the equivalent of around just under £640,000 or $800,000. Its design is based on a classic model from the 1960s, known as CA770. Discontinued in the 1980s, it was, it's thought, based on a Chrysler Imperial. The exact specs of Xi's state version of the L5, perhaps unsurprisingly though, aren't known. But the consumer versions don't lack for power or luxury. It houses a mighty 6-litre V12 engine, depending on the configuration, with state leaders known to enact the option for a more souped-up model. It's heavy too, even without armour plating, weighing over 3 tonnes. And when Jeremy Clarkson took it for a spin on Top Gear, he was quick to point out the more opulent and luxurious touches, such as rosewood panelling and jade ornaments. The Chinese Premier's car was recently seen on his state visit to the US at the end of last year, and although technical specifications remain a mystery, it was speculated to feature either a turbocharged V8 or V12. It was thought to be riding on 21-inch bulletproof wheels and tyres, complete with bulletproof glass and armour plating across the exterior. It was also reported that the state car can withstand impacts from small bombs and has an air compression system to protect Mr. Xi against any possible chemical attacks. Clearly, little is said on the record about either of these vehicles, as security is of course at the forefront of everything they've been built to do. But they remain a fascination to millions, and it's probably because of the secrecy that the intrigue remains. What's known more about are a little closer to home, and the Bentley State Limousines, most recently in service for King Charles III. As the name suggests, they were manufactured by Bentley and gifted to the late Queen Elizabeth II on the occasion of her Golden Jubilee in 2002. Both cars are kept in the Royal Mews. For protection of the occupants, the bodywork and glass are armoured, the cabin can be sealed airtight in case of a gas attack, and is also blast resistant, while the tyres are Kevlar reinforced. The state limousines are equipped with flashing blue lights. The Bentleys are used mostly on official engagements and are always escorted by a selection of marked and unmarked Royal Protection Squad vehicles, along with local police and motorcycle outriders.
I feel like they do give a lot of convoys out for just... Some could be dummies. Exactly, yeah.
Whereas Bentley have manufactured exclusively for the royal family, Russia announced earlier this year it is to start making Aurus luxury cars, which are used by President Vladimir Putin. They'll be done at a former Toyota factory in St. Petersburg. The Aurus Senat, retro-styled after a Soviet-era ZIL limousine, is the official Russian presidential car, and Putin arrived at his Kremlin inauguration ceremony in an Aurus limousine. And it doesn't stop there. The Russian Premier also presented one of the vehicles to North Korean leader Kim Jong-un in February. Lucky him. It feels unlikely we'll see similar donations by either the US or China. And you can't imagine we'll see the likes of the Beast or Hongqi L5 being gifted to or indeed driven around by any other leaders, apart from the ones they were originally made for. Well, you never know.